Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.
It's time to get educated on your Second Amendment right. It's time to get locked and loaded with Gun Sports Radio. Your hosts, Dave Stahl and Lance Pelkey, will teach you everything there is to know about firearms, self-defense, and the laws that affect your American right to own and bear arms. Now, here's your host, Dave Stahl and Lance Pelkey.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome. This is Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1 AM 1170. The Answer. The segment's brought to you by the Gun Range San Diego, 7853 Balboa Avenue in San Diego. Open 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Check them out on the web, thegunrangesandiego.com, thegunrangesandiego.com. And as I always say, the Nordstroms of gun ranges, just not the price. Michael Schwartz sitting in for Lance today. Lance is a little under the weather, and you got a special guest calling in.
I do. First, a big shout out to Active Shooter Defense School. Oh, we just went to one of their classes. Just came back from taking lunch to two of the winners from Gun Prom.
Uh-huh.
So Matt and Active Shooter Defense School are still up there shooting and teaching and having fun. I just wanted to say thank you, Matt. Thank you for all you guys do, and Jamie Franks too. Thank you.
And you're just bummed you're not there.
I'm bummed I'm not there, but we got to go up, give them some sandwiches and some iced tea, do a little off-roading, and now we're here. So.
In the Buick?
No, in the Jeep.
That thing runs?
Yeah, the Buick's not quite as good off-road. Almost.
So, who you got for a guest?
So, we have Morgan Ballis is a friend of mine. He's also a board member for San Diego County Gun Owners, but he's coming on right now to talk about the fact that he is the founder of Campus Safety Alliance, and we're going to talk to him and find out exactly what that is and what he does. Morgan, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, I am. Thank you guys for having me on.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day here in Southern California.
Amen, it is.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so you're the founder of Campus Safety Alliance. Tell us about Campus Safety Alliance.
Yeah, so Campus Safety Alliance is an emergency management consulting firm. We specialize in pre-K to 12 educational facilities and faith-based organizations. And essentially what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a dream team of emergency management officials, educators, law enforcement, medical first responders, counselors, psychologists, this team that could come together and collaborate and be able to help our schools and our churches develop responsible and really evidence-based emergency management programs.
I think that's an important distinction. Evidence-based. Talk about, because I've seen you talk. I've seen you on the news. I've seen you interviewed. Of course, you and I have spoken. So I know what you're talking about, and I think it's amazing. But tell people what you mean by evidence-based.
Yeah. So for me, evidence-based is nothing's anecdotal. Nothing's. I think this is what we should do. This feels good for us to do. It's not based off of emotions. It's based off of data. A lot of it is empirical data. So when we're talking about active shooter events, we're looking to the FBI reports over the past 20 years. And then it's also based off of best practices and procedures. So we're going to a lot of those three-letter agencies, those respected and reputable organizations, the organizations that train our law enforcement or first responders, or in the case of education, the U.S. Department of Education, and we're saying, okay, what are they recommending? And what do they say is appropriate and responsible in these areas? And that's how we need to build these programs.
So your typical client would be like a school or a place of worship. And what do they look at? Why would they come to you? If they're sitting around their board of directors or whatever talking, what conversation would they have that would lead them to call you guys?
It's usually a mix. So we do everything from doing facility assessments, looking at their infrastructure and their vulnerabilities, hazard and threat assessments, looking at their policies and procedures to make sure that they're aligned to state or federal mandates and best practices. a lot of organizations now, especially given the climate, they're looking for active assailant training to build those programs. And in schools, one of the big considerations, of course, is programs that are age and ability appropriate, responsible programs that don't introduce unnecessary trauma or emotional damages to either staff or students. So the catalyst for our clients, it differs, but really they're looking for that comprehensive approach. They're not looking for a quick Band-Aid fix. This is what makes us feel good. They want sustainable, data-driven programs to keep their stakeholders safe.
Yeah, and I get it, Dave, you and I see week in and week out. Of course, school safety and place of worship safety, it's really important. But the other side, meaning the anti-gun side, are exploiting this issue and trying to jump in the middle of it in order to advance an agenda. So they're saying, oh, well, gee, you guys are interested in gun safety. I'm sorry, you guys are interested in school safety. We're going to talk to you about gun bans. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. Where Morgan, Morgan, you and Jim Miller from the El Cajon School Board or Cajon Valley School Board were just in Vegas at a conference talking about this subject matter, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So Cajon Valley Union School District, they are one of our clients, phenomenal client. And I'll tell you that their board and the plans they put in place, they are becoming the standard for school safety, not just in California, but across the United States. They are doing phenomenal things. Big shout out to their board and their superintendent's office. So we were invited out.
So what are they doing? What exactly are they? When you say they're doing phenomenal things and everything, what are they doing? Like, give me just like one example. For example, they do this, this, and this for every child or classroom or whatever.
I'll give you the best example. They're being honest. They're not looking to get a PR plug or to feel good. They brought in outside consultants, even though they have a director of security and safety. They want to know the truth. They want to know where their vulnerabilities or weaknesses are, and they want to address it directly. So across all 27 of their schools, they've done full structure assessments on how to make improvements. They've also gone through and revise their policies and procedures. So they've created uniform definitions, communication policies across all of their sites.
Wow.
And they're also rolling out an options-based training program, what most people would know as Run, Hide, Fight, to their staff. And more importantly than that, they are piloting in an elementary school and a middle school how to responsibly introduce an options-based training to students. No one's doing that.
Wow. And that's all. I mean, that's just pure leadership on the board's part. I think they're doing an amazing job. Dave, did you see that article not just a couple months ago where a school back east, I think like Connecticut or one of these New England states, where they have a big container of rocks in the classroom, and if they're attacked, they're going
to throw rocks at them.
They're going to throw rocks. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there was a college that was handing out hockey pucks as part of orientation.
I'm not sure that's cutting edge.
No, but you know what? You know what that tells me? They want help. They want protection. And if they had their choice of a hockey puck or a teacher or somebody in the classroom that's trained and licensed to carry a firearm, I think they'd take that over a hockey puck. What do you think?
Yeah, I think what we see consistently is, and this is true of any field, you don't know what you don't know. And what we have are educators, people that have devoted their life to serving, bettering our country, to helping our children, and they're just trying to figure it out. So the idea behind giving hockey pucks or rocks, essentially, what we know in this community is you're trying to disrupt that shooter's ability to acquire targets, his ability to process and shoot effectively. And what do? You disrupt his OODA loop, as we know it.
I was going to say his OODA loop.
But Morgan, don't you agree that once the school has been hardened, the criminal's going to know? Because the criminals that go to schools and prey on soft targets, they've done their research. They know that school is either protected or not protected. And if it's not protected, then it's on their list. But if they know there's somebody on premises carrying a firearm, been trained, and has permission to protect the school, they're not going to go to that school. Agree?
I would both agree and disagree. And this is where we get into the discussion of evidence base and looking at case studies and looking at the data. What we know overwhelmingly is that over 95% of these attacks are committed by current or former students, which means you can have all the infrastructure in place. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas is the best example. This is one of the wealthiest schools. They had everything in place to include an armed SRO on campus, and all of that was defeated by a prior student that knew how to gain access to the school, that bypassed every security feature.
Gotcha.
And the failure was in the training. The staff wasn't trained appropriately on how to warn the campus and how to react in these situations. And unfortunately, 17 people paid with their lives. 17 others were wounded, and that's not including the psychological, the emotional damage, the suicides that have happened from survivors afterwards, the bankrupting of that school and that school board. So that's where really my passion and my focus is. And for those that don't know this about me, Michael does. My mom survived the 2011 Gabrielle Gifford shooting.
Oh my goodness!
And
oh my gosh!
That is what catalyzed me to what I'm doing today.
All right, hey, and we got to let you go because you talk more than we do. So, what's your website or a way that people could check you out?
Yes, our website is www.campus-safety.us.
All right, buddy. Hey, thank you very much, and we'll definitely have you back on down the road, see how things are going.
Thank you, Morgan.
Thanks, Phil.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170. The Answer. I was waiting for you to do that. All right, folks, welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
There you go. Hey, by the way, folks, up next, don't forget, we got John Dillon. I think he's even on the line. We're going to be chatting with him. But before we do that, hey, you've heard us tell you all about how easy it is to install a Cali key and how it makes your AR rifle California legal in recognition of recent gun law changes. Those law changes can put the unknowing owner of an AR or an AR-10 or a 15 on the wrong side of a jail door. You don't want that to happen. So if you want to keep your pistol grip, telescoping stock, foregrip, and still have a detachable magazine, check out Cali Key. Cali Key is a cost-effective, easy solution that will allow you to keep your AR compliant and future-proof your AR from all those horrible new California gun laws. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you could afford with Cali Key. Check Cali Key out at CaliKey.com. That's KALIKEY, KALIKEY.com. And if Michael can do it, you can do it. By the way, do you, any of your family keep a taser, pepper spray, firearm, or other weapon for personal protection? What would you do if you got pulled over and you had an infraction and you ended up in jail? Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters aren't going to help you. You need to call Firearms Legal Protection. And for less than $10 a month, that's right, $10 a month, you'll have peace of mind knowing a 24-hour hotline and legal representation is waiting for you and your family. That's Firearms Legal Protection at firearmslegal.com. firearmslegal.com, or you can call them at 469-310-9100. And if you're lucky, you'll get an attorney from the law firm of Gatsky, Dillon, and Ballis, LLP. Call them at 760-431-9501, or just go to cafirearmslaw.com, and you'll get the infamous John Dillon. How you doing, bud? Oh, you're not there. He's
not there. Nope. We got somebody else.
We got Wendy.
There's this really great organization in town called San Diego County Gun Owners.
I know those guys.
And Wendy works for them. She works very, very hard. And I asked her to come on to talk about what everybody's been talking about for the last couple of weeks, which is the San Diego City Council and their attempt to restrict your Second Amendment rights yet again. Wendy, are you there?
Yeah.
Hi, Wendy.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Okay, so Wendy, you went and gave a statement at the last hearing when they voted. Tell us a little bit about how that went.
So the ordinance is in place to basically tell us what to do in our own homes. The San Diego City Council is trying to make it so that anybody who owns a firearm in the city of San Diego, not the county, but just the city, you would have to have your firearms locked at all times or otherwise rendered inoperable by a trigger lock or a cable lock unless you're in immediate possession of it or basically, touching it. So at the last council meeting, they voted 6-2 in favor of passing it. But they do have to vote one more time before it gets final, and that vote is coming up this Tuesday at 10 a.m.
So what, when you were there last time when they voted for the first time, well, by the way, Dave, do you feel a whole bunch safer with this ridiculousness on the horizon?
I am so glad I live where I live.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to affect me. So, Wendy, why did they keep it to the city and not to the county?
Well, it was championed by the San Diego city attorney, who has been working closely with a lot of anti-gun organizations. So they're starting here. A lot of people are saying what you're saying, but it's just the beginning. So we need to fight as hard as we can to stop this from passing.
So you guys are meeting next Tuesday again?
Yeah, right. Tuesday at 10 a.m. We need as many people to show up as possibly can. And we need people to do two things. We need everybody to show up, but when you show up, we need you to do one of two things. Either be prepared to give a 1-minute talk, 1-minute statement. And people ask me, like, well, what are the talking points? What should I say? Tell them who you are. I'm so-and-so. I live in the city of San Diego. I do this for a living. I'm a parent, whatever. Spend, a couple seconds talking about who you are. And then just say, hey, you know what? I oppose this. It's way too overreaching. Tell them what your opinion is. We don't want to give you these prepared, bullet points and you sound boring and they're not listening to you. We want to put a face on this. A lot of people have said, well, they wear orange. The anti-gun people wear orange. We need to pick a color and do it.
No, I'm not into that.
Yeah, I think you look like a lunatic when you're in a,
right. Well, you look like you're in a group.
Yeah. And we're not. We're the society. We're the pillars of society. So we need you to show up and either say, hey, San Diego County Gunners, I'll give you our minute so that we have a presentation that we're going to give, PowerPoint presentation that we're going to give, and it's going to be fantastic.
But we can do that in a minute?
Well, we need more than a minute. So we need like 10 people to say.
They'll give away their time?
Give away their time, exactly.
Then I'll do it because I can't do a minute.
There you go. So if you're just thinking, you know what, I want to help, but gosh, I don't want to stand in front of a
or you can't do
counselor.
a minute.
Yeah, I don't want to give a statement. Come down. Or maybe you don't live in the city and you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't live in the city, so I don't.
That has nothing to do with it.
Doesn't have anything to do with it. Come down and give us your minute so that we can give our presentation.
Well, I have to jump in because I asked you this question last week and you didn't know what the answer was, and so I called John Dillon, our lawyer at large.
All right.
And I told him, I said, now, if we say it makes it out to my neck of the woods, I have to put a cable lock and ammo over here, gun over there, and I'm on a trip and somebody breaks into my house and kills my wife. After this law has been implemented, do I have a legal right to sue the city? And he said no.
Yeah.
And I go, what do you mean no? What? No, no. What do you mean no? I mean, that makes no sense to me at all. I still have not had a good explanation as to how the city of San Diego can get away with that when they implement a law that puts my family in jeopardy when I'm not home.
Well, part of our presentation is going to talk about that very thing. And, of course, everybody heard just about 12 hours after the last vote, a perpetrator invaded someone's house, stabbed him almost to death. His wife was panicked on 911, saying, hey, hurry up and get the cops here.
Yeah. And how long?
His adult son had to go get his firearm and save his dad's life. And again, my first thought was, if that law was implemented before this happened, that man would have survived.
Maybe the kid, and maybe the wife, and who else?
Right. Who knows what would happen?
Because the guy's going to kill one. I mean, he doesn't want any witnesses.
Now, Wendy, part of their reasoning, part of their what they were saying, the need for this law had to do with suicide. Is that right?
Yes. So their viewpoint on it is that they're trying to make it a little bit harder for someone who is in a moment of crisis to access that firearm. And they're talking about adding the, few seconds that it takes to unlock the firearm may make a difference in someone who's deciding whether or not to commit suicide. But those few seconds that it takes to unlock that gun could also mean the difference between someone being able to defend themselves and not being able to.
And where do they get the information that makes sense?
It's grasping at straws. There's not a single study.
No. You can't say straws.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can't grasp at straws in the city of San Diego.
Towels. You can say paper plates. Don't ever say straws.
Grasping at reusable toothpicks.
There you go. Oh, wait a minute. That's on the list. We joke about it, but it's not funny at all. And folks, if you have any aversion to this law, take some time off of work and go down, take an early lunch. Where do they got to go?
So, good question. It's the City Hall for San Diego, which is at 202 C Street in San Diego. 202 C Street. It's about a block from Horton Plaza.
So you can park in Horton Plaza?
You park in Horton Plaza. You can park there.
Do they validate?
I don't.
Does the court validate?
I think might cost you a couple bucks, but you might want to take the trolley. There's a trolley stop right there at C Street. There's a lot of ways to get there. I would show up a little early.
I'm going to say, what time do they should be there?
So it's going to start at 10. You really should be in the door by 9:45.
Shouldn't all you guys meet like at 9:30 in the lobby or something to be part of it?
It's a nice big room, so meet there. But I get there at 9:45.
Okay.
Because you got to fill out speaker slips. You got to don't wander in late.
Right.
You got to be there by 9:45. What's that?
The 12th floor.
Yeah, 12th floor. That's where the dais is, where they meet. So 12th floor, 202 C Street in San Diego. Go to San Diego.
What's it called? What's the building?
City Hall. San Diego City Hall.
What's the 12th floor room?
12th floor. Once they get off the elevator, you can't miss it.
Okay.
Yeah. So 12th floor, big, huge dais, big, huge room for, I don't know, probably accommodate 100 people. Tuesday, be there by 9:45. Go to San Diego County Gun Owners for more information. SanDiegoCountyGunOwners.com for more information. And Wendy, thank you very much for organizing everybody, and appreciate everything you do. And thank you so much for coming on today.
Sure. I hope to see everybody there.
Right.
Say hi to Emmy and Rosie.
And by the way, we heard you did a fabulous job last time. Job well done, kid.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Always does.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. This is Gun Sports Radio right here on FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The Answer.
Welcome. This is Gun Sports Radio. I don't need any teeth. FM 96.1, AM 1170. Goodness gracious, I'll knock myself out. This segment is brought to you by Cali Key. Have you folks ever tried to use a Cali Key? Well, trust me, it is so easy. You'll wish you had this thing a long time ago. If you want to get your ARs in good shape, your 15s and 10s, and be on the right side of a jail door, you want your AR to keep its pistol grip, telescoping stock, foregrip, and still have a detachable magazine, check out Cali Key. Cali Key is a cost-effective, easy solution that will allow you to keep your AR compliant and future-proof your AR from all those horrible new California gun laws. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford with Cali Key. Check out Cali Key at CaliKey.com. That's KALIKEY, KALIKEY.com. All right, right now we've got the Gun Range San Diego guru on the line. 7853 Balboa Avenue, open 7 days a week, 10 to 10. Just go to thegunrangesandiego.com, and you will be blown away by all the cool things you can do down there. First-time shooters are more than welcome. Shooters that have been doing it their whole lives love it. They get all kinds of compliments. I call it the Nordstroms of gun ranges, just not the price. So we got Casey in the house. Casey works down at the Gun Range San Diego, and he has more fun than anybody I know. How's it going, bud?
Oh, we're down here living the dream. It's not as hot as the past few days, so it's doing better in here, which is nice.
So, okay, well, so nobody's there today, so somebody can come down and go shooting?
Oh, no, we got plenty of people in here. We got a couple lanes open at the moment. We're saying, on days like these, especially when it's beautiful, most people tend to go to the beach, and that's perfectly fine. We're still here. We're still open. During the day, it kind of slows down a little bit. Won't be at quite a full range, and probably within the next 2-3 hours, people start coming in when the sun goes down and then it starts getting a little busy again, but nothing too crazy. So if people want to come in and shoot, we got lanes available. Come on in.
All right. So what do you want to talk about today, my friend?
Well, today, I was just going to give you a little heads or a little thing that we did. Actually, yesterday we had the San Diego County gun owners that came in, and they brought some college students from we had guys from USD, UCSD, a bunch of other schools, and they were in here with the San Diego County gun owners as their mentors. So that was actually kind of cool. We had a lot of people in here, explaining the firearms, showing
awesome.
them the ways in there.
They loved it. I got so much good feedback from that, Casey.
Who'd you bring in?
Absolutely.
College Republicans from UCSD.
Mm-hmm.
How many did you have?
Like 15, I think.
Wow.
Yep. I think our final count was like 15 and 16, and they were just in there just learning, just, hanging out, talking. Some of the guys have never even seen guns before, and so they had all, the jitters. They shot some really cool guns in there. So it was just a great experience. That's kind of one of the big things in here is that we can do events like that. Just let us know, and we'll do our best to facilitate it. And, people that are listening that never touched a gun before, never seen one, come on in.
Yeah,
most of the phone calls that we get every single day is people asking, I've never touched a gun before in my life. Is there going to be somebody there to help us? Absolutely. Wow. Every single one of our employees here is well-trained, well-experienced with all weapon systems that we have in here. And we're not just going to turn somebody away because they've never seen a gun or anything before. Absolutely not. We want people in here to experience this. We want people to enjoy the sport that it is. So we're not going to be in here, I've seen other gun ranges and I've been other places, shooting, and sometimes some of the employees there just have a chip on their shoulder of people that don't know anything about firearms. That's not how we are here at all. We just want to spread the word, have them come in here, enjoy it, and have a wonderful experience.
Yeah, you guys did a great job. Veronica, you guys gave a really good deal because they were, new shooters. They're college kids. They wanted to learn. They're trying to support the Second Amendment. So please, everybody, support the gun ranges that help support you guys. But they loved it, and we heard about this about midweek that they were trying to put this together, and so we turned it around as quickly as possible. And the gun range, you guys, stepped right up and said, "Yeah, bring it on down."
So what did these kids? What were these kids looking for?
Well, they're go ahead, Casey.
The majority was just them getting experience. Now, I actually had two of the kids that were in here. They go to UC or was it USD? They came in about a week or two ago talking about possibly starting a shooting club at their school. They wanted to they're talking about coming to our range, once, twice a month and actually like renting out some lanes to bring all their friends in there. And they're all part of the, the Young Republicans group. And they just want to come in here and shoot, experience the firearms, and just, it's a passion of theirs. And that's what we look for. That's what we love to see is people, especially in the demographic that they're at, colleges nowadays aren't the friendliest when it comes, firearms or, Pro 2A, stuff like that. So for them to actually try and push this to their school and get it, sponsored by their school and whatnot is amazing that they're actually trying to do that. And I wish them all the best, and we're going to be here to help facilitate that.
It's awesome. And here's the added kind of another level to that. So these are college kids who are, politically aware, wanting to get into shooting, that sort of thing. A lot of these kids are going to turn, I say kids, they're all adults. A lot of these young adults are going to turn into staffers for elected officials, right? And then a lot of the staffers for elected officials, what do? They go run for office. And I meet so many people that make it to 40, 50 years old and have never touched a gun before. And they're on, some politician's staff, or they are a politician. And I think, oh, my gosh. So, teaching them young, 18 to 22, is so crucial, and it pays dividends over the years.
Absolutely, and especially, it comes down to a lot of politics and all these laws. And, they'll put out these gun laws, and you're thinking, it's like, this person has obviously never experienced firearms or knows anything about them, because what they're writing in the laws or the articles that they're writing make absolutely no sense to people that are experienced in the firearm world. So having people that are actually getting experience, raised in it, and actually moving up to those levels just makes it so much better for the firearm community.
So let me ask a crazy question. Okay, so these were the Young Republicans, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Have you ever had any Democrat groups come in and want to shoot?
I have, absolutely. In fact, we're having a shooting social for in just a couple of weeks. I have. I mean, it's more common with Republicans, but I really try to stay away from the idea that all Republicans are our friends and all Democrats are our enemies. I know that's not what you're saying.
Exactly, yeah.
But there are a lot of Republicans that are not our friends, and there are a lot of Democrats out there that want to be our friends.
Well, and I would think, because I've got friends that are Democrats that don't act like what you see the Democratic Party doing.
Right.
I've got friends that are Democrats that happen to be gun owners. So I was just kind of wondering if they reach out, and because it's important, because you can't make a comment or a statement on a topic unless you've at least experienced it, tried it, or been around it.
You would think the only ones that you can always trust, of course, are the libertarians.
Yeah.
You're not going to find a libertarian that's not pro-gun.
No.
Yeah, it's happened stuff like that. We've had college students come in here writing like papers or dissertations, everything about gun violence, the causes, if gun laws, do the gun laws work? So we have to kind of tread lightly because we don't know their exact purpose. Sometimes it could just be a slam piece about guns, but we don't want our name on that because that's just not how we want it. But we talk to a lot of people, and we just want to make sure, or we always asking like, what's the purpose of this? And we want to educate them, but we don't want to give them, fuel or fire to use against us.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of tread lightly. But we have such a large demographic of people that come in here, regardless of their political stance, we try to keep this a politics-free zone just because we want people just come here and shoot. Just have a good time, experience it. You want to talk politics, do it on your own time, that's fine. We'll have conversations, but when it comes down to it, we
don't want to beat people over the head.
A lot of people.
Yeah, educate, but yeah. So now, a lot
of times people want education. That's a big one.
Yeah, Casey, are you guys getting questions on this new law that's going to go into effect in the city of San Diego? Because you guys are in the city of San Diego.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of concerns about it, and they're just like, hey, what do I have to do? And it's like, it's coming down to the place like, yeah, you have to have it locked, you have to do this and that, and that's why we're pointing everybody to like fight this. Their mentality behind it is like, oh, this is going to stop somebody killing themselves within the second it takes you to unlock something, this and that. I mean, possibly, but that's such a what if kind of scenario. And then you go to the other side. It's going to take me, if I need to defend myself and I have to go open up my safe, unlock my gun, and then load it. That's not me. I don't want that. That is not comfortable for me. I don't feel safe with that. And it's just handcuffing. That's on both sides of it. So,
well, what's the law? What's the rate? When someone buys a gun, don't you have to? What's the gun lock regulation? So talk about that for a second. So the gun lock, you have to have so unless you have now for pistols, it has to have a California approved cable lock with it. That most guns in California will come with that. If it does not, we have to by law sell them with the cable locks. For rifles, shotguns, long guns, stuff like that, you can do what's called the safe affidavit, which you bring in your make, model of your safe, and as long as it's on the certified, California approved lock, and it's not just like a gun cabinet, you're okay. But no matter what gun you're selling or buying, it has to have the lock with it. Even when you're doing private party transfers, if you don't have a lock purchased within the past, I believe it's 30 days with the receipt, we have to sell you lock. And people always wonder, like, well, I have the lock on it. Not by California's eyes. They don't. I mean, yes, I'm looking at the lock. I'm holding it in my hand. But in California's eyes, they want their cut of it, and they want that proof of it.
Sure they do.
So, yeah, regardless, every single gun that's being sold has a lock or will be locked. There's just no way around it. That's just how it happens. Mm-hmm. And now this law that they're putting through is just double, triple locking things, which is not. I mean, like, what's it going to do?
Yeah, it's not the idea. None of us are against none of us are saying, gee, never lock your gun up. That's, we're all for safe storage of firearms with appropriate. But what we're against is the idea that this is the way it always has to be locked. Otherwise, you're going to have a misdemeanor. It's going to screw up your life. Way overreaching.
Yeah.
Way overreaching. But they don't have any other way to do it.
It's Big Brother, trying to put down more rules, more regulations to make criminals out of law-abiding citizens. That's what it comes down to. They're trying to do the crime prevention, whatever. They're trying to make guns safer or less likely to be stolen by somebody who knows the mentality behind it. But when it comes down to it, all these gun laws are doing, they're not hurting the criminals. They're not.
Right.
They're hurting the law-abiding citizens. They're tying our hands and turning us into victims.
Sad.
Well, Sacramento, I've said for a long time now that Sacramento looks at Californians as either a source of revenue or a future felony. That's it.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's the source of revenue, even with the background checks for the ammos and stuff. It's $1 here, $19 there for a consumable good that You know, I've done background checks for a single box of 20-round hollow points, this and that. You know, that guy's went in there to go shoot and test a gun, but he wanted to leave with it after. So I still had to do this background check. California still got their dollar on it. But it's like, what is this? What's the purpose behind this? What is this trying to accomplish?
So in general, how's it going with ammo sales? If are people walking in, are they able to buy ammo, or how's it going?
Yeah, it's going. I hate saying smoothly, but so far it's going good. As long as their documentation is good, and you know they have the ID and they remember all their DROS information for the most part. As long as it matches up, it's instantaneous. It's just you press a button, hit refresh, and then it's done. But what we've had other times is say like people have suffix, or they'll have like two middle names. If they don't have it split up, like their ID will say one thing and the DROS they split it up a different way. Like we've had to run like multiple background checks for people until it went correctly, and then we'll print out an extra one for them so they can remember. All right, this is how it is on my DROS. This is what in the eyes of the great state of California looks at it as. This is how it's approved on there. So it's going, but it's just causing so many headaches. And then the biggest one is, you know, when it comes to rental ranges and stuff, if they're not doing, if they're doing consumable on the range and stuff, they're not necessarily required to do background checks. And then we're making it a point to remind people, it's like, look, if you're buying ammo for the range here, you're shooting it all in the range. There's no ands, ifs, buts, or exceptions on it. That's the exception we have to the DOJ and whatnot. And then people have a box of 9mm, wanted to take it home.
Nope.
And they're like, well, nope, go shoot it. Like, I'll get you our coolest rental in there. Just go shoot it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like buying a beer in a bar and say, well, I think I was going to take this home. Can I get a to-go cup?
Yeah.
All right, Casey. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day. That's the Gun Range San Diego, 7853 Balboa Avenue, 10 to 10, 7 days a week. The Gun Range San Diego. Go down and say hi to Casey right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Folks, welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The Answer.
Do you or any of your family keep a taser, pepper spray, firearm, or weapon for personal protection? Do you have or are you going to get a CCW? Well, if you're involved in an incident, what are you going to do if you end up in jail? Who's going to take care of all your bail, lawyer fees? Well, guess what? I have an answer. Firearms Legal Protection. For less than $10 a month, you will have peace of mind knowing a 24-hour hotline and legal representation is waiting for you and your family. Don't hesitate. Go to www.firearmslegal.com. That's firearmslegal.com, or you can call them at 844-357-9400. That's 844-357-9400. And if this is easier to remember, 469-310-9100. But just go to firearmslegal.com. All right, we have a special guest on the line. Who might they be?
Yes, we do. Dezarae, are you there?
I am. How are you guys?
Fantastic. Dezarae Payne, the executive director for Riverside County Gun Owners PAC. And you guys had your first meeting on Saturday.
We sure did, yes.
How did it go?
It went fantastic. We actually had to go find chairs. We had more than 24 people come. We increased our membership by 8. And a U.S. Blast Shield stopped in. It was really, really fantastic. There was a lot of energy. People were excited. Bullseye Sport and Ammo, Ben and Ammo in Riverside is our gracious host. So it's really fantastic getting to use their classrooms, brand new classrooms.
Yeah, there were like 30 people there. U.S. Law Shield came by to talk. 8 additional people signed up to be members.
Yes.
And ran out of chairs. There were so many people. There were like 30 people there, and pizza and Bullseye guns and Bullseye Sport Guns and Ammo, right? In Riverside hosted.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. Huge Second Amendment supporters there, going through the same thing that you guys were just talking about ammo restrictions and all of that fun stuff that they've had to deal with too. So.
Awesome. Great. So you guys are going to start having meetings on the 4th Saturday at 3 o'clock at Bullseye Sport Guns and Ammo in Riverside. Check out riversidecountygunowners.com. I just wanted to have you on real quick, Dezarae, to say congratulations and thank you for doing what you're doing, and let everybody know if you know somebody in Riverside, or if you're listening from Riverside, go to riversidecountygunowners.com and join Dezarae in the fight.
Absolutely. All right, Dezarae. Hey, thanks a lot. Have a good one, kid.
Hey, thank you guys. Have a great day.
All right, right now we've got Sam the Gunman on the line. How you doing, bud?
Not bad. How are you guys?
Try to stay cool. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm halfway through mowing the lawn.
You sell any guns this week?
No, I was out of town, but
that's right.
I had work yesterday and today, but there's a gun show going on a few counties away, so that's taking all the business.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's what we got for you. You ready for this?
Da-da-da.
Laura from Santee wrote in, and she wants to know, and her question is about sight radius. Sight radius is the distance between your rear sight and your front sight. She wants to know, on a typical AR or a typical AK, which has the longer sight radius?
Okay. What was the name of the person who sent that in?
I believe that was Laura in Santee.
Laura in Santee. Thanks for the question. So there's this debate that seems to be as old as time itself about AR versus AK, and each has advantages, and each platform has some advantages, and each platform has some disadvantages. But one thing that a lot of AR fanboys like to throw around is sight radius, where basically sight radius is the distance between your front sight and your rear sight. And the longer the sight radius, generally, the better precision you will be capable of. It doesn't make a huge difference, but it does make a difference. Now, the reason a lot of AR fanboys like to throw around words like sight radius is because they've convinced themselves that a stock AR-15 has a longer sight radius than a stock AKM. Because if you look at an AK, the rear sight is pretty far forward. It's on the front of the receiver, whereas on an AR-15, the rear sight is generally at the back of the receiver. But the front sight we're talking about one with a carbine length gas system. We're comparing apples to apples here.
Right.
Similar barrel lengths, and a 16-inch carbine length AR is the most common. The sight radii are actually the same.
They're the same. So
Yeah,
that your answer is, the question was a typical AR, typical AK, and as you said, we're talking about, AKs, ARs come in a lot of different configurations, but when you walk into the store and you buy your typical AR or your typical AK, the question is which has a longer sight radius, and your answer is they are the same. That's your final answer?
Yeah, if you have, there's a difference of a few tenths of an inch, but if you have your front sight post on your gas block and it is a carbine length gas system, then your sight radius is the same as it is on a stock AKM.
You're absolutely right.
You're unbelievable.
Absolutely right.
So why do they call it a radius?
Because it
That's a good question. Why do they call it the sight radius?
Yeah.
I think it's because it has to do with the fact that
Because isn't a radius round?
It's in case you have to turn around in a circle to shoot something.
I think it has something to do with the fact that measurements of angular dispersion and stuff in rifles, in firearm shooting in general, are angular measurements, not linear measurements. So I don't know exactly where the term came from, but that would be my guess.
Cool.
The radius is from the center of the circle to the edge of the circle.
That's
right?
it.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that's just they like coming up with new names. All right, buddy. Hey, well, thanks a million.
Thank you.
Great job, Sam.
Get back out there, cut that lawn.
Okay.
All right, man. Hope you have a riding lawn tractor.
I don't need it.
Oh, is that little bitty lawn?
No.
Just hard working.
Going for exercise. I got you.
His parents are building character.
There you go. All right, buddy. Thanks a lot.
You guys have a good night.
You too, buddy. All right, folks. So we've got a few minutes left. Let's encourage people to go to City Hall on Tuesday.
Absolutely. Just wrote an article a couple of weeks ago. A lot of people think, well, the reality is I think this thing's going to pass. I don't think anybody's going to change their vote. No. But we still got to go and make our voices heard. And people kind of throw their hands up in the air and go, gee, well, why? Well, there's two things, though. One is we got to make it tougher the next time they try to do this by showing up and shining a light on it. But two, show up in a couple months when it's time to get people elected. Yeah. This is a Hail Mary showing up at a city council meeting.
Sure.
And, they already know how they're going to vote. But show up, shine a bright light on it, make a big deal. Otherwise, this stuff just passes.
And didn't a couple of supporters of ours that believed in this didn't even show up to vote?
Well, one of them did. That's City Councilman Mark Kersey. He and I spoke the week before, and he was going to show up, and he was going to do a couple things for it. Well, do one main thing for us, which was he was going to try to make sure that the penalty for this was just an infraction rather than a possible misdemeanor.
Right.
And then just didn't show. He called in sick. So
did you actually talk to him since then?
It won't return my messages.
Oh, really?
It's really lame. I'm people like that.
What's his name again?
Mark Kersey, and I believe
with a K. If you see it on a ballot, don't vote for him.
Don't vote for him. We're done with him.
No, I'm being serious. I'm not joking around, because if a politician tells you they're going to do something and then they don't do it, then you don't need them in office.
You really don't. He just left the Republican Party, we think, because he wants to run for mayor, and he thought running as an independent would give him a little bit better shot. But I don't care what he runs for next.
No, he's done.
Forget it. Don't vote for him. It's
that's no way to set a platform.
Friends like that, who needs enemies?
That's right. Hey, folks, we really, really, really want to thank the folks at the San Diego County Gun Owners. Go to SanDiegoCountyGunOwners.com. You can join that group for $10. It'll be the best $10 you ever spent. And again, if you want to go shooting, the Gun Range San Diego is just awesome right over there on Balboa. Go to thegunrangesandiego.com. Tell them you heard it. In fact, tell all our advertisers and anybody that's been on our show that you heard it on our show, and thank them for supporting us. Firearmslegal.com. For less than $10 a month, how could you go wrong? Firearmslegal.com. The title tells you the story. Cali Key to get your ARs all compliant. And that's KALIKEY.com. And then, of course, if you want to send us a sponsorship, maybe you want to help us out, or you want to send us some information, ask a question, go to www.info@gunsportsradio.com. Lance or I will be more than happy to hook you up. And again, we want to thank Lance, wish him well, hope his throat's doing better. Michael Schwartz, Mr. Dynamo, Casey Heckerworth, he's our co-host from Gun Sports, the Gun Range San Diego. John Dillon is our lawyer, and Brendan is our infamous board op. And then, of course, we want to thank Laura for supporting Gun Sports Radio. For that, I'm taking her for a ride in a Lambo.
In the Lambo.
Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.